Today's video is for you if you are new to Hermes and you would like to dip your toes into this orange world, but you're not really sure where to begin and you're overwhelmed by all the information and product recommendations out there. I wanted to put this little kind of kit together for you, full of the best Hermes pieces that I feel would give you a great idea for what Hermes has to offer. And none of these would really break the bank, especially because I know that you would be able to get your money's worth out of every single one of these pieces. And even if you are a seasoned Hermes collector and you've been watching my videos for a while, I still think that you're going to find a couple of bits in here that are great foundation pieces to have in your arsenal. So without further ado, if you'd like to hear my thoughts on what are the best pieces to start your Hermes collection with, then make sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet, and keep on watching. Today we're going to be focusing on specific products that I would recommend that you look into buying. But if you would like me to do a similar video full of tips and tricks on how to begin shopping at Hermes, not necessarily what to buy, but how to buy, let me know by giving this video a thumbs up. That's definitely a video that I could do for you because I think it's been a little while. But today I wanted to start with specific products that you could put onto your wish list or list of pieces to look at. Now, the first two ranges that come to mind that I would recommend that you start with are Hermes Silk and the brand's leather goods, because believe it or not, there was a point in time when Hermes was better known for their silk creations than their leather goods. And I do have an in-depth deep dive, a complete guide to Hermes' silk. But long story short, Hermes' silk is one of a kind. There are very few brands, if any brands out there, that do silk quite like Hermes does. All of their silk is made in-house in France, and what makes them incredibly special, the reason they are such high quality and the prints are so vivid and vibrant, is because each and every single color that you see in a scarf is printed as its own layer. That's what gives these scarves such beautiful dimension. But if you would like to find out more about Hermes scarves, the different sizes, the different prints, I will make sure to have my deep dive link down below for you. Now, when it comes to starting your silk scarf collection, which silk scarves you can do so much with, I do have silk scarves myself, even though I would never wrap one around my neck, but I use them as decorations around my home. I have turned some of them into pillows, but you can absolutely wear them as a top. You can wear them wrapped around your head. You can turn some of them into a bag even, or even a dress, depending on which size you go for. So the sky is really the limit when it comes to Hermes scarves. But when it comes to starting your silk collection, I would suggest starting with a print that is really quite quintessentially Hermes. So I would suggest opting for something with either a horse on it or some equestrian inspired tools and equipment. Now, if you know me and you know my taste, you know that one of my favorite prints from Hermes is the Brie de Gala print, which I'm not sure if they're doing for this upcoming season, but I do know that they're doing a similar print, which is going to be called the Breed a Destin print. It's not a new print, it is a re-release that they're going to be doing in quite a few different colors. And I would suggest starting with this print in a scarf size 90, which means that it measures 90 centimeters and it is a perfect square. Or if you would like to opt for something a little bit more special, something that is not quite as obviously Hermes as an equestrian inspired print, but if you know, you know, then I would recommend looking into their astrology print, which is an iconic Hermes print. It's a print that has a cult following, so it might be a little bit tougher to find, but if you can get your hands on one, that is something that you're going to have in your collection for a lifetime. If you're here watching this video, you probably already know that Hermes's leather pieces are just immaculate, and there are quite a few SLGs that I could put on your radar. There are quite a few that I could recommend, pieces that I have talked about before, things like the Kelly Pocket, the Constance Slim, and the list goes on. But I'm not going to lie to you, if you're brand new to Hermes, these are going to be tough pieces to get your hands on, unless you want to go down the route of getting these things pre-loved, or you get lucky. I mean, if you love any one of these pieces, there's no harm in asking. You certainly can. But I wanted to give you a recommendation for something that is not going to break the bank, something that is usually readily available, a piece that comes in a ton of different leathers and colors, so you can get a real feel for what Hermes's leathers and colors are all about. A piece that I know you're going to be able to use and enjoy is the Tarmac passport holder, which is a really simple passport sleeve. I talked about this piece recently. It's one that I didn't really get for the longest time because I didn't understand why you would want a sleeve for your passport. I always preferred an actual cover that you could slide your passport into. But what I came to realize is that having a sleeve is actually a lot more user friendly, because anytime you go through immigration or you have to show your passport to someone, they always ask you to take it out of its case anyway. So there's really no point having a cover on it. It's much easier to have a sleeve that you can just really easily slide your passport in and out of. And it is also a lot more reasonably priced than an actual passport cover. But if you prefer a cover, Hermes has just recently launched their RMS passport cover, which features a snap closure. And fun fact, the snap closure is tone on tone. So if you decide to pick this piece up in blue, the snap closure is going to have a blue enamel finish. If you decide to get it in red, the snap closure is going to be in red. I mean, you get the idea of tone on tone, but that is something that you could potentially look into. I mean, it's not the most innovative design, but it's a great staple. And if you would like something with a little bit more interest, the H-tag passport holder should still be around, but I would personally opt for the Tarmac passport covers. I think they will add a lot more to your collection. They come in some beautiful shades, in some interesting leathers, and if you would like to spice those up a little bit, you can actually have those monogrammed with your initials, free of charge. And if you've been watching videos on where to start your Hermes collection, I'm sure you're thinking, okay, that's fine, G, but what about the Calvi and the Bastia, which a lot of people recommend that you start with those pieces, which you certainly can. I personally recommended the Tarmac passport holder because I think it is a piece that you're going to get a lot more use out of. I talked about this in, was it in my last video or maybe the one before, that I can't remember the last time I actually reached for a card holder, a physical card holder, because I pay for everything with my phone. Now, if you are someone who still uses a card holder, the Calvi has a similar concept as the Tarmac passport holder. It comes in a ton of different shades and a ton of different leathers. In fact, it's usually the first piece that launches at the beginning of every season in the latest colors. So if you like a card holder, the Calvi is a great one to go for. The Bastia, not so much. I am personally not a fan of that particular piece, but I did want to mention the Calvi in case you're wondering. Everyone's talking about the Calvi. Why are you not mentioning it? This is my reasoning behind it. The reason I would recommend that you go for the Tarmac instead of the Calvi is because I do think that the Tarmac is one that you would be able to use on a more regular basis than the Calvi. At least I know that I would. And then moving on to fashion jewelry. If you're new to my channel, you won't know this, but I am not the biggest fan of spending too much money on fashion jewelry. I think they just don't really last for the kind of money that you have to put into each piece. It's great to have a few different pieces in your collection, but I really wouldn't go overboard. And the piece that I would recommend that you start with is a leather piece from Hermes, because they do fashion jewelry in quite a few different materials. You can find their jewelry in non-precious metal. They make fashion jewelry out of enamel, but if you're going to go for Hermes, I would suggest picking up something in leather. And my most favorite, most worn, most loved fashion jewelry piece from Hermes is their Be Happy bracelet, which I know you wouldn't think does that much for you, but I genuinely think that it's one of those pieces that you can just throw on with any outfit and it will immediately pull an outfit together. I don't know what it is about these really simple designs, but there is something to them that just makes you look a lot more curated, or at least your outfit, it makes it seem a lot more curated than it actually is. It does come in several different lengths, so you can pick it up in single tour, which means that it goes around your wrist once. You can pick it up in double tour, which is my favorite, which goes around your wrist twice, and then there's a version that goes around your wrist a few more times. They come in a ton of different shades, and they're actually reversible. So they are usually made of either two different leathers on each side or two different colors, and you can have them fully reversed. And I almost forgot that you can also choose from quite a few different finishes of hardware. You not only have it in the traditional palladium, gold, and rose gold, but it also comes in a so black finish as well as a so blue finish, which means that it's not only the bracelet that's blue, but also the hardware, which I think would be such a special piece to add to your collection. Even if you've been buying Hermes for a really long time and you already have all these basics under your belt, I still think that adding a Be Happy to your collection in so black or so blue would be a really special touch. An opinion that might be a little controversial compared to what other people usually recommend, and even what I used to recommend, is my thoughts on where to start your belt collection. One thing that I would not buy at this point is any one of Hermes's belt kits. If you don't know what belt kits are, they are more often than not belts that feature some sort of an obvious age. These are belts where you have to buy the strap and the belt buckle separate. You can choose whatever belt buckle you want and whatever length, width, and well, the width has to match the belt buckle, but whatever length and color you actually want for the belt strap. And one thing you have to know is that you always have to buy a belt buckle with a belt strap. You cannot buy a belt buckle on its own, but you can buy additional straps on their own if you wanted to, which some of them are better than others, but I think those pieces are just kind of been there, done that. So if you're looking to start your belt collection, I would recommend starting with the Pop H belt if you're looking for a belt that you can wear on a daily basis, or if you're looking for more of a statement piece. For the current season, they're doing a belt called, I believe it's called the Salto belt, which would be an incredible show-stopping piece to have in your collection. And then for men, it is the Trivia belt. That's the way to go at this point. It is a really subtle, understated, but incredibly crafted piece, which comes in a 32mm width in a ton of different finishes, colors, and leathers. Or if you're looking for something just a little bit more special, the Andy belt, which takes very subtle inspiration from the Kelly buckle, is something that you could also look into. If my favorite Avantage sneakers were still in production, you know that those are the shoes that I would recommend that you start your shoe collection with. But since they're not currently being produced for the new season, I would actually opt for a pair of loafers. Even though I'm not a loafer kind of guy, I feel like these next loafers would look amazing on so many of you, which are the so-called Destin loafers. These are loafers that are not overly pointy, which is one of my pet peeves. I just don't really like pointy loafers. I think there are very few people and very few outfits that those shoes actually suit, but when it comes to more rounded toes, I think they're a lot more flattering, and it is so much easier to dress those shoes up and down. Not to mention that these Destin loafers feature the iconic Kelly buckle, which I think is so hard to put on a pair of shoes without it looking kind of tacky at this point. Not necessarily tacky, but kind of overdone and predictable. I think these shoes are just the perfect balance. They do them both for men and women in a ton of different colors, leathers, and finishes. For women, they do them in canvas, which is my favorite finish, so that could be a special piece to add to your collection. But there's no doubt about the fact that if you were to buy them in leather, they would probably be longer lasting, but I still love the special touch that the canvas one would add to your collection. So it really depends on what you're looking for. And speaking of looking for something different, if you are looking for a pair of boots, which Hermes does boots exquisitely, I would either look into the jumping boots from the women's line or the fresh ankle boots, which they do both for women and men. I mean, these two designs are not really comparable in any shape or form. They will do very different things for you and for your collection. If you're looking for something that you can dress up or dress down, a piece that will make an outfit, the jumping boots are an essential iconic piece to go for. But if you're looking for something that's really casual or really comfortable and a piece that you'll probably not want to get out of all winter, the fresh ankle boots are back for the upcoming season, both for men and women. This next recommendation might be boring, but when I sat down to brainstorm what pieces to put in this kit, I really wanted to ensure that the pieces I recommend you can genuinely get your money's worth out of. And one of my most used pieces by far from Hermes, well, my most used pieces are my Hermes mugs. These are things that I use every single day, multiple times a day. So an Hermes mug, if you don't have one in your collection yet, this is the sign you've been waiting for. You have to get one. They are things that won't break the bank. I mean, compared to a regular mug, they are insanely priced. But these are little things, little treats that will bring you joy, as I mentioned, every single day, multiple times a day, depending on how much coffee or how much tea you drink at home. And my current favorite collection is the Soleil d'Hermes collection, which I even surprised myself with because I'm really not that much of a color person, but it has brought me so much joy seeing these beautifully vibrant little mugs first thing every morning. So that's a great collection to look into, not only because it is a lot more understated and not so obviously Hermes as some of their iconic designs, but also because those pieces are actually dishwasher safe. Now, if you're looking for something a little bit more elaborate, a little bit more sophisticated, obviously the mosaic collections are ones that you cannot go wrong with. And last but not least, I have been torn about including this piece in this video just because it is a lot more expensive than any one of the previous pieces discussed, but I feel like I would do you a disservice if I didn't mention this because it is genuinely one of the most amazing Hermes pieces. If you would like to seriously kickstart your Hermes collection, if you don't mind spending or investing a hefty amount of money into your collection because you genuinely want to get a feel and an idea for what an Hermes piece is able to do for your collection, the Kelly wallet is one of the best pieces Hermes has to offer. It is technically from their SLG line, but it is so much more than an SLG. It is a piece that you can not only use inside other bags, but you can wear on its own. You can use it as a clutch bag. You can turn it into an actual bag. And here I'm not talking about the to-go pieces, not only because they are insanely difficult to get, but also because they are, in my opinion, unreasonably expensive for what they are. So I would probably opt for the classic Kelly wallet because I think you can do just as much with those pieces, if not more, as you can with a to-go piece. Now, I'm not saying that getting a Kelly wallet is going to be a walk in the park. They are not easy to come by, and it's not because there are that many people out there that are waiting for these pieces, but simply because Hermes doesn't produce that much of it. But if it's something that you are seriously interested in, do go into your local store and ask, put in a wish for it and see what they say. They're not going to turn you away because they're that difficult to get, but if they do, it's going to be because they just don't have any of them available. But do put in a wish, look for a color and a leather that you would enjoy and see how long it takes for you to get your hands on one, because I know that it is a piece that you would love and enjoy for a really long time. And I am going to do an updated deep dive on my Kelly wallet collection, sharing everything that you need to know about these pieces. So if you have any questions, if there's anything that you would like to know, please make sure to leave your questions and requests in the comment section down below. This has been my Hermes starter kit. I hope it gave you some idea for potential pieces that you could start your Hermes collection with, or how to fill gaps in your already existing arsenal. If you found it helpful, then make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't done so yet. And if you have any recommendations, then please make sure to leave them in the comment section down below. I really appreciate you being here and watching, and I hope to see you back here with a new video really, really soon.